Hello everybody, welcome back to another Weather Central forecast. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. So today we will be looking at our severe weather outlook for the next couple of days, as well as we'll briefly be going over a possible dynamic pattern that's going to set up about a week out from now, as well as we will be going over preliminary severe weather targets for next week. Exact areas and exact hazards is still uncertain, but I will keep making more forecasts on that as we do get a better idea. But before we do start off with this forecast, I would like to start off with a disclaimer that these forecasts are my opinion. They are based off of model guidance and past occurrences of weather. For the most accurate and up-to-date weather, please consult your local National Weather Service office, as I will have more accurate and up-to-date information than I will on these major United States weather events. Let's go ahead and go over to my outlook for this pattern. So here is my outlook for this pattern. Now you can see it varies different from yesterday, and there's a reason for this. So this is what's currently happening, right? And I mentioned yesterday that we are seeing cooler temperatures right now, and the reason why I believe that this is a dynamic pattern is because this cold air is going to shift off to the west, and this warm air is going to push off to the east, hinting towards a warmer sort of surge of temperatures over the next week or so, or I guess I should say a week out or so, that will be transferred into portions of central and eastern United States, and we're going to get a slight cool down off the portions of the west. However, you guys will see in a little bit, the Climate Prediction Center has backed down a little bit on that very cold air off to the west. However, there still does look to be either a near average or just a below average temperature. Going into my pink and purple here, I couldn't use the reds because I had already used that in my warm-up. So I decided to do it in this color. So I hope you guys did enjoy that color. But this is where we are seeing our severe weather. In this lighter sort of shade here of pink is where I'm expecting your least threat to really line up. And then into this darker purple is where I'm expecting your biggest threat to occur, and that is for today into tomorrow. But let's go ahead and start off with our current National Weather Service watches, warnings, and advisory displays. You can see we have wind chill advisories and wind chill warnings off to portions of Nebraska, throughout portions of the Rockies, and mostly concentrated into the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes up there. We are even seeing wind chill warnings for portions of Wisconsin and portions of Michigan there. And we're also seeing some flood warnings, river flood warnings, as well as some significant weather advisories and severe thunderstorm warnings, as well as we do have a wide region of a severe thunderstorm watch. If you guys do want to stay up to date on that, there is this thing that the National Weather Service issues called mesoscale discussions. Now, basically, it's updated anytime a new threat becomes apparent, and they do update that as often as needed. It is very accurate, so please check that out if you guys want even more sort of guidance than I can provide here. So going over to yesterday's storm reports, you can see we have 2 tornado reports and a lot of hail reports, as we did have that significant 30% chance and that 15% chance there. And you can see most of our hail reports did not occur within there, which is very interesting. However, we did see some large hail reports, though, and that was what that significant perimeter was advised for, which is 2 inches in diameter or greater. We can see we even did have some large hail reported in the portions north of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. A lot of hail reports. We had 98 of our total reports being hail out of our 119. We had 19 wind reports, and most of that was off to portions of Louisiana. We also did have a tornado confirmed into portions of North Carolina. I know that the little weather group that I'm associated with, that I kind of do stuff with, we did issue a unofficial tornado warning for that, because obviously we're not official enough to issue those real tornado warnings, as we aren't the National Weather Service. But we did actually have a tornado warning issued for that, and that was over on our Discord server. And so, yeah, we did kind of predict that a little bit. However, that threat really wasn't too much there yesterday. We did see a 2%, but it was more off to portions like this. So that was definitely interesting to see for sure. Going into today's categorical outlook here, we can see general thunderstorm risk lining down through the Rockies into portions of the Northeast, through the South Central, up to portions of the Mid-Atlantic, down through the Southeast. We do have a marginal risk issued for portions of the Deep South here, all the way through portions of the Southeast. And we also do have a slight risk issued for portions of San Antonio, just south of that Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, and just north of that Houston area. But this is going to be a hail-driven enhanced like it was yesterday, and wind will also be a factor in this. But however, we're seeing more of that hail risk here Going into our tornado outlook for today, we can see we have 2 areas of interest and 2% tornado chances. That's for portions of extreme southwestern Texas there on that Mexico border there, as well as we are seeing a 2% chance of tornadic activity into portions of eastern Texas and portions of Louisiana there. Going into our hail outlook, we can see we do have a significant chance of 2 inches, a 15% chance of 2 inches or greater hail in diameter. And we also do have a general 5% lining up through portions. I believe that would be our marginal. That was our marginal that we did see earlier today that I just showed. That is where you have a 5% chance of hail damage here. And that yellow is at 15. You guys, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we have a key down here, and we're just kind of matching it up there. Going into our wind outlook, you can see we do also have a wind threat for portions of San Antonio and southward. We also do have a 5% outlining that in that green there. Going into tomorrow's categorical outlook, we can see we do have a thunderstorm risk up into portions of the northern plains here, as well as for portions of the Four Corner states throughout portions of the deep south into the southeast. Is where we do have a generalized thunderstorm risk, and then we do have a marginal risk for portions of southern Georgia there and north Florida there. Going into our day 3, nothing crazy at all. We just have 4 generalized thunderstorm risks, 1 lining up into portions of the northwest, 1 into portions of the central United States, 1 down into portions of the Four Corner states, and then 1 down into the southeast. So if you guys are within those regions, and I believe this would be Thursday, just be expecting, those generalized thunderstorm risks. Don't expect anything too crazy. So right now we're looking at our surface-based CAPE. Now, if you guys don't know what CAPE is, it basically grows those thunderstorms. The more CAPE you have, the more CAPE that thunderstorm can really engulf and really just upscale from there. CAPE, I would say, is basically food for thunderstorms. CAPE, if you don't know what it stands for convective available potential energy. So it's just those energy that storm really gets to engulf and really just grow upscale, like I said. So we do have a couple areas of decent amounts of concentration of CAPE here. And we're seeing down into portions south of San Antonio, we have an excess of 2,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE, even more centralized in that Texas-Mexico border there. And we have areas of 1,000 plus into portions of western Texas and eastern Texas throughout portions of southern Louisiana as well. We can see this is probably about now because this is the 12Z model. So around 3 o'clock, which is our current time here, this is probably what it's looking like on surface analysis. Now, I didn't issue it or put a surface analysis onto this, which I probably should have. But this is what is possibly going on right now. We see we have a high concentration of CAPE into portions of Houston, Texas, back down through portions of San Antonio, where we're seeing, like I said, an excess of 2,000 joules per kilogram. Centralized into eastern Texas, we could even see an excess of 2,500 joules per kilogram, which will really help those storms develop a more severe side to them. However, it's not that much CAPE in terms of a tornado outbreak, so that's why we're not seeing too much tornadic chances. But you can see where we do see our highest concentration as I move on the next frame is where we do have that wider 2% risk, and this is 6 hours out from now, so around 6 o'clock tonight, we are seeing in excess. You can see our max here showing 3,307 joules per kilogram of CAPE. Now that will really allow for that those very strong thunderstorms to develop. So our threat might actually be just before and or after sunset for portions east of Houston there. We're seeing our CAPE kind of jumping up north a little bit. We're seeing portions north of San Antonio seeing over 1,000, maybe over 1,500 joules per kilogram of CAPE. So definitely there will be a severe threat for sure. Now, where we do have our marginal issued for tomorrow, this is 12 hours out, so this is midnight tomorrow. And we're seeing our CAPE really die down here as our cold front really pushes through. We're seeing some CAPE still lining up into portions of the southeast. It's not much. It's around anywhere from 400 to maybe just shy of 1,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE. So we're not going to be talking about any major severe weather outbreaks. However, you just had that kind of isolated marginal down here. That most likely will be for hail and wind threats. Tornado chances remain 0 to none. And then you can see in our next frame that CAPE that was coexisting into portions of Louisiana has moved back down through the Gulf You can see our cape is almost non-existent over to the southeast, so our threat really dies out about noon tomorrow, maybe even earlier than that. Going into our temperatures, you can see this is hour 3. I did want to start off there because this is probably what is going on right now. We do have a good region. We can see a defined front here trying to really push down. It's either a front or just really cold air. I'm trying to really press down into portions of southern Texas here, but we have 80s down to the border and the Gulf areas here. We're seeing 60s remaining in between those boundary areas, and those 80s and even 70s probably what's occurring in San Antonio right now will allow for those thunderstorms to develop. Moving this on even more, this is about sunset tonight. We're getting 90s plus into portions of extreme southern Texas here, south of San Antonio, I believe. I believe San Antonio's around here. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am, because I'm not familiar with the Texas area too much. But we're even seeing a wide region of 80s, 85 plus, and that will allow, like you saw in the convective available potential energy, those high Cape values to really develop down here and even off to portions of Louisiana, like we did see. Moving this on even more, you can see this is by hour 9, and we're still seeing a warm up, possibly isolated areas of 100 degrees is possible throughout portions of the deep portions in the very deep south in Texas. We're even seeing still portions of southern Louisiana and on those upper 80s, and even portions of southeastern Texas as well, seeing those 80s, maybe isolated 90s, even up to 95. Going into our Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook, we're only going to be looking at the Climate Prediction Center here, so I'm sorry if you guys really want me to go more in depth on that. If you guys do, let me know that in the comment section, and I will try to add a little more into my next forecast on the temperature probability. I just felt that the severe weather side of it was a lot more important today, as that will save a lot more lives than temperatures will, because obviously we're not going to be seeing deadly temperatures right now, as it is springtime. But this is our 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook issued by the Climate Prediction Center. Now you can see it did vary a little bit from yesterday. We're seeing our highest concentration up into the Midwest, and even outlining that is our around 40 to 50% chance of above average conditions. You can see they really held off of that third layer that they did show yesterday. They're even showing a 33% chance for over 2/3 of the country, almost the entire country. So do expect some warm-ups later into this week, mostly probably around Saturday and on. But we're seeing just a slight area west of Seattle, seeing just below average in the next 6 to 10 days. And they are expecting a 33 to 40% chance of that. Going into our 8 to 14 day, we can see it really gets concentrated off to portions of the Rockies, into portions of the Midwest, and we're seeing a generalized wider region here of that 40 to 50, which is nice to see, as we do want that warm-up to really occur, because I don't know about you, but I really don't like these cold temperatures at all. And next week, I told you guys in the disclaimer that I would be going over some target areas for next week. I do want to say this right now, this is not official. I don't want to get too into depth on this, so don't ask too much questions about this in the comment section, because like this says right here, possibility of some type of severe weather next week. Probability in exact areas is still uncertain, as is the potential hazard type for this. So I'm not saying it's going to be a tornado outbreak for all of these areas. I'm not saying it's going to be a hail outbreak for all of these areas and or a wind threat. I'm just saying that there is a chance right now for some type of severe weather, whether that be pea-sized hail, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, or strong thunderstorms, or even isolated tornadoes, specifically down here. So I do think that highest tornado chance coexists right now. I can't give you guys exact potential hazard types and or what I believe could happen right now, because we still are too far out. This is for next week. So I really don't, like I said, don't want to get too into depth on that, but I did want you guys to see this, just so that you guys will stay weather aware, as you guys do have a possibility of some type of severe weather next week. I hope you guys did enjoy this Weather Central forecast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.